Hello everyone, welcome back with the three ways, waiting for Glenn and Sandy, and today the topic will be about relationship matters. And is it right to have predefinition of roles between men and women and in general within relationships? So let's wait for the incredible two. Ciao Sandy!
Hey, how are you?
Last minute podcast live session. Ciao Glenn.
Kids.
How are you guys? So nice to see you as always.
I don't know. I might have to sign off and sign back on because I have just big words over my screen that says having trouble loading this live video. Do you see that too?
Nope.
All right, I'm going to hang up and come back.
Okay.
Right. Hello, Miss Francesca.
Glenn, I've been looking at your incredible work also online, visible. We love it. Okay,
I've been going full steam ahead, and life is great. Great. We got more fun stuff. Here she is. She's back now.
I missed you guys. I love you, beauties.
Yes.
Oh my God.
We take a pause because we don't want to overwhelm our podcast, even though we have so much to say, just to remind our friends.
It's good. It's like tantric. It's tantric podcast. We just take our time, just a little bit. Francesca, your lighting is so good. Your lighting is so perfect. You are just supermodel heaven.
Glenn, because I listen to you, Sandy, and I always forget I have my light, and I never put it. So
yeah,
that's good. Cool background too. I like that.
Glenn,
cool.
So what are you saying?
The New York City background. It's very cool. I like that. What you're in front of, Francesca. Very cool.
Always my favorite. The only thing that gives it away that it's New York City, I think, is the
Empire.
It's not the Empire State Building. It's the other one.
What?
It is?
The one on 42nd. What's it called? The other one.
Oh, I don't know. All right. So give us a 1 minute, Francesca. Give us a 1 minute update. And then Sandy, give us a 1 minute update. What is going on?
The Chrysler Building. Thank you. The Chrysler. I needed to smell my coffee to get the word out. It's the Chrysler Building.
Okay. All right. Let's give us some updates. Let's dive in.
So, 1 minute catch up. Of course, I've been in London, as you know, guys, and I continue doing my online sessions for people in need. I don't do lots of marketing just because, as we know, just my approach to healing, it's very intimate. And I believe if people trust the connection, they can reach it. And about the community, I've been exploring, as always, this emotional work, which, of course, isn't defined as a business, but is defined as advancement of knowledge within connection. I do it for business, but also for fun. And so many new relationships are being born. So it's very beautiful, as I love connecting, to connect under the perspective of knowledge and wisdom, which for many can be intense, but for many, the uncomfortable sensation is very sexual. And so it activates the essence within. So it's very interesting how different people react in different ways. So as you know, I love exploring, but emotional work is what I've been doing till now within Community Matters.
Okay. Nice. Very, very nice. Sandy, what is going on in your world? Give us a 1 minute update.
Thank you, Francesca. One of the things I loved everything you said, but one of the things I loved is about how you're growing your orbit, not through specific action. And it really comes down to energy. You be in that space and it just comes to you. Quote that I often share with clients when it comes to love, when it comes to relationships, but even your relationship with yourself and even your relationship with your career and growing your career specifically in your success. It's a Rumi quote. I can pull up the exact quote, but basically what he says is when you go after, right, that's that action, trying to overcome emotion. When you go after what you want, your world is a furnace of stress. When you bask in the light, you're not doing nothing. You're being in love, being in. Look, I got a thumbs up.
Yes. Yes, and then people can misunderstand the meaning of this, because what does it mean being love? If you want, we can dive in together, because it's not, of course, easy for everyone to understand. Many people don't know about love. Love is seen as affection, as dependency, as yes, as many things, but it's not love often. So if you want, what does it mean for you guys being love? And then, of course, I share my perspective.
Right. So that's a perfect topic for today. And just to finish how much I love what you shared about the success coming to you in that Rumi quote, he says, when you go after what it is you want, your life is a furnace of stress. But when you just bask what we're calling in love, what that really means, being in that space, meditating, whatever it might be, or just enjoying it in an authentic way, what you are attracted to is attracted to you and seeking you, and it comes to you. When you let yourself believe that, everything shifts. So Glenn asked, what are you up to? Francesca answered the question. I remarked on how much I loved what Francesca said. What I've been up to is the same stuff I do all the time. Stupidly happy, lots of hot yoga. I'm rebuilding my app for the 4th time, so it's a lot of work. But a lot of fun and very expensive. And, and just, how much did this cost me this week? But it's all for the greater dream, building the dream. So how about you, Glenn? 1 minute or 10, go.
Glenn has been super active in all the media, in TV. Tell us, Glenn.
I know, I've been on news TV shows, hypnotizing news anchors, doing interviews, getting to share the HypnoVault a lot, which is great. I have a bunch of new avenues. I have a killer I'm going to be on with. I didn't sign a non-disclosure, so there's an amazing country star, Jen Kramer. I'm going to be on with her next month, and I got some other big ones coming up. So a lot of good stuff in that area. And then I just started my new workshop series. So it's actually very fitting for today. I just have my site. It's called Dating After Divorce or a Long-Term Relationship.
Very interesting.
It's a combination of my own personal struggles and journey in that area, as well as guidelines. Like, nobody told me, like, when you have kids, how do you deal with a new relationship? And how do you deal with your ex and all of the different pieces in the puzzle when you're trying to create a new life for yourself? And so it's pretty packed with good info, and I do a great kind of hypnotic meditation. And so that's something I'm really proud of. So I got a bunch of new kind of special workshops like that. So
I love this. I love
this.
One question. I know that it's a full workshop and you're going to do hypnosis around it and everything else, but if you could just give us a freebie, if you could just spill the beans and give us just one gem to take away if you're dating in a situation where, you're not 23 and have a perfect profile.
I think the number one thing you have to do when you get back to the dating world is manage your own insecurities instead of project them on to a new potential partner. Because we have insecurities when it comes to meeting someone and seeing someone for who they are, not falling into the trap that their behavior has to mean what it meant to you in your past. Somebody new, you don't know what their behavior means. Just because they acted a certain way or said a certain thing, it doesn't mean that it is your past and you should judge them based upon your experiences. So it's a matter of showing up, seeing somebody for who they are, and managing your own insecurities so you don't project them and ruin a potential nice relationship.
I love that. I just was talking to a guy who's in finance, whatever, big business, and he interviewed somebody for a CEO position. So this is a big position, and the guy who made it through all of the interviews to the end, now this guy I'm talking to you about it says, so here now I'm listening to him in his last interview, and he's name dropping and he's letting us know all of these people he's associated with. He said, this guy has the credentials and everything else, but at the end of the day, he's identifying with, when anybody does that name dropping type of stuff, he's identifying as someone who's connected with other people. which is one of the biggest signs of insecurity. He said, we didn't hire him because we never saw who his real identity was. He was so wrapped up, his identity being in these stories that he tells about himself. He said, and bottom line, it's okay to accept everyone else's insecurities, but as somebody who works for my company, it's not fair of them to bring it to me and expect me to manage their insecurities. And I thought, wow. Wow.
That's why I believe true lovers are seen in the moment of openness, because if someone is wiser than the other one, in general, can be the man or can be the woman, and he makes it visible, because as we know, consciousness it's key for relationships, because consciousness are all these informations together, as Glenn said before. You basically take the informations from the past, which we don't have to forget, informations of the present, informations of what it could be, and make consciousness out of it. So in the moment if there is consciousness, there is no drama, if not, of course, emotional, because we are humans, but that's when you find truth and you can be lovers. When you are both conscious. Consciousness is truth and is relative, but at least you have all the pieces together and you see clear.
And this consciousness, this knowing who you are, is kind of harder to get when in a relationship. You've been married to somebody, you made a commitment, therefore you're there, but you don't know yourself, you don't know each other. And so sit with this one. Don't get the sense of who you are from something that has nothing to do with who you are. And then ask yourself the question, does this marriage or this relationship, what percent of this has anything to do with who I am? And that's the consciousness you're talking about.
Yeah, autopilot. So many people, including myself, was on autopilot in my old marriage. You know, you're in a pattern, you're in a routine, and you don't even know if it's working for you or not, because you don't even you just kind of playing this part. And I think a lot of us do that in relationships. We just play a part instead of really look for connected fulfillment with each other that you can bring to the table. And it's good to have that consciousness or awareness, either way you slice that word up. So what was your question? What is love? Is that what you said, Francesca?
Yes, you know, regarding what you said, sorry if I interrupt you. I believe insecurities make people pretend to be something they're not. So it's not even, because wearing a mask, in my opinion, I was sharing this topic yesterday with such an interesting man, a bit older but very wise, during this event. And wearing a mask is not always negative if it's part of you. So if you want to entertain people, you wear a mask and it's you. But pretending someone you're not is insecurity. So insecurities truly have to disappear, because it's not about having different personalities, it's about pretending something that is real. So it's insecurity, exactly.
So when you talk about that mask, I picture like Lady Gaga, someone who speaks about growing up being that kind of person who likes to wear these costumes, who likes to play dress up, who likes to play in that artistic, creative expression space. And you've also seen her with no makeup and a t-shirt, right? You've seen all aspects of that. And that's, Francesca, I think what you're talking about. Someone like that who wears those masks, that's all part of the parts of who this person really is.
Yes. Maybe not aesthetically, I was talking internally, but for sure, you know, if I modify a bit my lips, if you make a bit of more makeup, unless you are a clown, it's good, but just follow the aesthetics of beauty, of true beauty. Don't exaggerate, and, you know, and feel yourself. That's super important, because otherwise, if you feel yourself with a mask and then you don't feel yourself without, then who is you? So still, this is a problem many women have. And they have to be careful, in my opinion.
Yes, and men too. They don't do it necessarily with makeup. They might, but they do it with, you know, I was working with a client recently who is pretty high in the corporate world, wants to get higher. This guy who sort of came up with her, she was ahead of him most of the time, but then she went off and had a baby. She came back. So he's ahead of her. She is struggling knowing that she's really smarter than he is. She's really more qualified, but he's got this, you know, sales guy presence about him, and she was asking me to train her to do more stuff like that, to behave more like that. And I said, no way.
No
way. It's not authentic for you, and that's the problem. You don't like
we
it.
Totally agree. Yeah.
You don't like that. That is a mismatch to who you are. It's also a mismatch to who he is, but in a different way. And So exactly. Glenn, what's love?
You know, here's the best definition. You know that thing where science heat is just the abstraction of cold,
Yeah.
you know, and it's just which I still don't agree with, but that by definition, heat is just the of wait, or cold is the abstract. One of the two, right? So I think love is what's there when you strip everything else away. I think it is just what life should be and what the world should be when we take away anger, when we take away jealousy, when we take away not accepting each other and not accepting ourselves. I think that is what this world is, and it's there, it's always there, and it just gets covered up by people doing stupid things.
Yeah, absolutely. I think what you're saying is very similar, if not exactly the same, as when Abraham Hicks says there is only a stream of well-being. You can cut yourself off from it and try to go upstream against it, but when you let go, you're just in the stream of well-being because that's what it is. Well-being, love, same thing, right?
Yeah. I think love exists only with values, otherwise, it's just exploration. So, when you have your core values, that's love, because yes, the rest doesn't exist because you delete anything that is not important anymore because you are full on what is powerful in terms of love. So you don't seek external power, you don't seek fake relationships for validation, you don't seek this job just to feel important because you are love. So love sets you free because it makes you see so many possibilities of life. There is not only one. Makes you see so many opportunities between friendships. So if you lose a fake person, you don't mind because you are love. That doesn't mean being superficial. That means being truthful. Otherwise, you are needy and you seek neediness. So this is a low power of love. So love is when you have your core values, it explodes.
Somebody, official S. Thakor said, love is just sacrifice for his something. Or, what does that say?
Love is just a sacrifice for his or her love. I think there is not much sacrifice because sacrifice is imposed by religions. That's the problem. Nothing against, but really,
Can be. It
never
is.
sacrifice. Never.
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 I don't think we
No.
should ever sacrifice because when you want to do it, it's not a sacrifice, it's a commitment. So I commit to this, and so it comes. I will never sacrifice, even though it happened, of course, but I will never sacrifice my persona for love because that means it's not the love for me.
Yeah.
Right. I love my kids, and if I'm headed to the gym and I get a call from one of my kids, they need me now, I'm gonna not work out. So, or at least not at this moment. So we could say I'm gonna sacrifice my workout to go help my kid, but that's very different than saying I'm sacrificing even 1% of who I am, right? And I will go work out later, right? Or maybe I'll jog to see them, right? But so then we really have to just define what sacrifice means. But I think overall, when people talk about sacrifice, no, that's why it never works. Yeah, no commitment, Elizabeth. Good, just love.
Now you sound like Francesca.
I commit when I feel all of it. That's how I am. But not because it's has to be intense or it's my nature. So I committed fully to my past. I commit fully to my present, even though at the moment I navigate and I explore more than I ever done. It's true. But we have our moments. And then I commit when I'm conscious because I cannot commit for an idea, even though this idea is love. So, in my opinion, anything, work, relationship, you have to leave it to commit fully because it's not someone telling you what to do. It's not, it's not a job, a relationship. It's not a job, love. So, you have to feel it all.
Francesca, that's such a good question. Glenn, what do you commit to and what do you not commit to?
What do you commit to? And what do you not commit to? Well, I think that's a secondary question. I think the first question really is what what are your, and this is part of my workshop actually, what what is it you want in a relationship, and what are your values, and what do you want what do you want to experience? I think that comes first, you know, because to me
So pick one.
the
Pick
commitment,
one. What's
I
Go
will,
ahead.
but the commitment is to protect what you've created in your relationship. To me, that's the commitment part. You're protecting. It's like putting a border up, protecting what's inside. You met this beautiful soul and you formed something special. Well, let's commit to protect that special connection together. That's how
Very
I see
true,
it.
Bernino. Very true. So true. That's super important.
But people screw it up because Glenn, if you could pick one thing that you're protecting, what's one specific thing you're protecting? Let's play this game for a second.
You're protecting that, at least for me, the way I see it, you're protecting that special connection that only you and that person have, and you don't have that with anybody else in the world. So you're protecting that special connection between you and your intimate
So what
partner.
does that mean?
If that's what,
Don't hook up with someone else? Is that what that means?
more than that. It's more than that. It's not about, it's that,
It's this
you know, you're,
energy protection. Yeah.
yeah. It's like you're the only person I'm going to have this type of relationship with. You are my life partner, or at least that's the road we're going on, and this is to be kind of honored and protected by committing to it. That's the way I feel it.
I get it in theory, but if Jen, who is the love of my life, if Jen were to physically be very attracted to someone else, it took me a long time to get here, okay, to this place for myself. If Jen is physically attracted to someone else, but doesn't disregard, I don't want to say disrespect, because respect is like you sort of have to ask people for that, right? But just doesn't disregard my value, right? Is honest. If she has to make herself not do something with someone else, that means I'm asking her to be less than who she wants to be, right? If that physical relationship with someone else turns emotional, then the question is, well, where's your heart? Because if your heart's there, you should go there. Why should I stop her from expanding emotionally because she made a promise to me one time a long time ago? She should go. She should go. I hope she doesn't. But, you know, if that's what happens, I should.
This is regarding protection. Sorry, Sandy.
That's what I'm saying. Then there's nothing to protect. There's
Yes.
nothing. It's honesty every day. I love you. I'm here today. I love you. I'm here today. You know what? I'm finding something interesting over there. Let me go check it out. There's nothing to protect.
Yeah, in my opinion, protection doesn't have to be exactly possession, even though you possess someone in bed, you possess someone sexually, you possess someone, in intimacy, but this is a different. In life, you protect the meaning of your love. If any friend of mine ever risks, as they did, to go against the meaning of love or my love, they're out. And if they're not out, I won't be the same anymore. But not because friendship for me is different from love. Friendship is something I respect you, I adore you. Let's live this together, but you are not my love. My love comes first. But in general, that's my value, and I've been born like this. So then, second, protection exactly is not going against everyone, but at the same time, yes, if they go against you, that's love. I mean, for power of love and for fight for love, we mean this, not to be fought. To be loved, but to fight for love. That's when we fight for love. Everyone is aiming to fight to be loved, but then everyone is insecure, everyone is seeking validation, everyone posts pictures on Instagram all day long, everyone, what is this? I mean, where is the power of love? Protect love, I think, is this way.
There's no protecting because nothing can touch it. Love is all that there is. It doesn't go away. So when we take action to protect it, it's a false identity with what we think love is. Let go of the false identity, and then what's there is real love. Every emotion has an opposite, right? So the opposite of pleasure is pain, right?
Yeah.
Every emotion has an opposite. There's only one emotion, you can give it different words, but there's only one emotion that doesn't have an opposite, whether you call it love or pure joy or, it's kind of like the Jesus stoicism, whatever that word is,
Yeah.
right? But pure love, pure joy. That's the only emotion that doesn't have an opposite, because that's our baseline. And that's, Glenn, what you were saying, well-being. That's what we're talking about. So anything that can have an opposite, including pleasure, and pleasure is my favorite thing, okay? But even pleasure, pain or something like it would be the opposite. So when we fight to keep that pleasure, when we fight to keep that identity, I'm yours, you're mine, we're holding on to something that's not real, because the only real thing is the one that doesn't have an opposite, which is true love. And that's one relationship only and always, which never goes away, and that's the one with you and you. And when that one's good, you can play with anyone.
So true. Yeah.
I think it also depends on the relationship you want to have with your partner. Many people are open and they see other people, and if that works, then that works. For me, that doesn't work, but for many people it does, and it's not. I don't think it's wrong or right. I think we see now in the world there are many types of relationships that work for people, and it's not just traditional kind of relationship anymore that we've been modeled. So, for me, it wouldn't feel safe if I am committed to, or if I'm protecting a connection with someone, if they're going to explore that with someone else, even if it's not intimate, even if it's just physical or in any way, that wouldn't be a connection to keep anymore.
And
that's just
where I'm going to agree with you. Here's where I'm totally agreeing with you. Even though I'm in an open relationship, I don't really go there, because the need to hook up with other people, the need to do that, they're still like, well, what's missing in you? What's missing in your relationship that you need? So I see both sides of my own point.
Yeah.
So while I have the freedom, I really don't really do much about it. Every once in a while, but
yes.
Different where you
Sorry,
things, right? So maybe at this point in your life that works, and then maybe in the future that won't work, or maybe it still will. But I just know, we all have our little things. Like me, I get what's called reverse jealousy. Like, I never agreed that you could date other people before you met me,
But in fact, this jealousy is totally mental. And also, to be jealous of another woman doesn't exist. You're jealous of your love. Otherwise, it's envy. We have to precise this, because jealousy, it's a sentiment of love. And if you're not jealous of your love, there is no love, because, sorry. I mean, a bit of jealousy, maybe I'm Sicilian, I don't know. It's life. I notice immediately if I love someone. If I'm not jealous, bye-bye. You're not my man at all.
The most jealous person I ever dated, like to a point where it was so awful, was Italian.
Yes.
No, also, it's in the DNA. It's in the wine. It's in the tomatoes.
And people aiming not to be jealous, in my opinion, are very insecure, first. Second, yes, for protection, we protect the meaning, not necessarily the person only, but also injustice. It's something I don't accept. Injustice has to be protected. When there is injustice, doesn't matter if it's someone I don't know well, I go there and protect, because I cannot stand mean people that are not truthful, because if you're truthful and you're mean, I love it. If you're truthful and you are lying and you are giving injustice, I protect it.
Honesty and clarity and communication. By the way, somebody asked what language long hair speaks. Italian. Do you speak other languages too?
Yeah, English and French and Spanish. French less than others.
Now that's so speaking multi. And it's amazing to me that people can speak multiple languages and think and understand them.
Glennino, it was a hard work. My mother was locking me in the room to do that. Don't worry, I haven't missed anything.
We all speak the language of love. I want to ask you guys this question sort of in reverse. Take someone who says, I am seeking true love. I believe in true love. I know one day I will find my true love. That person is saying and declaring, I am already admitting that I do not feel whole and I need something to fill my God-sized hole. I hope everyone finds that kind of relationship. But when you are missing something and you're waiting to find it, you're saying, I'm not full.
Very true.
Like, Abraham Hicks repeats this story thousands of times. If you listen to Abraham, you'll hear it. She'll say the story of somebody who says, my lover left and I'm sad. And Abraham says, no. And the person's like, I'll repeat what I said. My lover left and now I'm sad. And Abraham says, no. This person says, listen, I was in a relationship. We were in love. He left. Now I'm sad. He left. Therefore I'm sad. She said, no, that's not possible. So if you think about it, here's you, okay? Lover comes along. You're connected. Yay. Good stuff. He leaves and instantly you're sad. It means he was just filling a hole. And if you go back to what he was doing for you in those times that you called yourselves happy, well, when you were missing someone, he was there and you could text him or call him. When you needed somebody to touch you, he was there and he could do it. When you needed somebody to tell you how to do it, he was there and he was doing it just the way you asked, right? So these are all things that we think are connected with him, but in reality, it's us trying in a cheap way to connect with the only connection that's even possible, which is you and you. He was holding a space for that. Glad he left, because this is the only opportunity you have now to find that. And once you find it with you, people are so afraid. Does it mean then I can't have it with other people? You can, but it's better.
Yeah, you will never find true love if you're not truthful to yourself. Don't we agree, guys? How can you find true love and be true love if you're not truthful to yourself? People live in illusion of their life. Me, I would always fight for truth, even if I have to lose something. I don't really care. So, because for me, it's the truth of love. I'm fighting for love. I'm not fighting against you. I'm fighting for the meaning of love. So, if you're not truthful to yourself, how can you find true love? Everyone complains about finding true love. I mean, you have never been truthful to yourself. How can you find it?
Who do you know who's done that?
So many people.
Found true love and they're really, truly happy. And it's all, wine and roses and rainbows and unicorns. Really? It can't exist. You can exist well with someone, but not unless you have what you talked about earlier, Francesca, which is your own consciousness, which is that alignment with yourself.
Yeah.
So the thing, in the opposite side of that coin that you just shared is this is in the words of Jack LaLanne, one of my biggest heroes. Francesca, you probably didn't know him. Jack LaLanne was the first American fitness guru. At 70 years old, he pulled 70 rowboats with his hands in handcuffs across the ocean, and there was people in the rowboats at 70 years old. But he said in his last book before he passed on, he said, life is better when you share it with someone, and life is meant to be shared with someone. And I believe that 100%. And so how do you balance that, Sandy, with what you just said?
That is the same sentiment that was shared. Ooh, I got goosebumps. That's so good. And I agree with that. That was shared in, I want to say the book was called Into the Wild. They also made a movie of it. And it's the kid who ran away and found
amazing
woods.
movie.
And then amazing movie and amazing book. And it's one of the few movies that's as good as the book.
Yes.
But in the end, he said the same thing. You can seek all this stuff on your own, but at the end of the day, the only thing that makes life worth living is when you have it to share with someone else. Glenn, you brought up I'm like hair standing up on my arms. You brought up the best point possible, because people misunderstand. They think when you really get in touch with your number one and only relationship concern being you and you, they think it means not others. And what I'm saying is, you do. We are here to co-create. We are here to connect. We are here for relationships. But unless or until the relationship with you and you is solid first, then the relationship with them is going to suck. And when you get this one good, the relationship with them is going to be freaking great. But you're not out seeking it. You're being you, and it finds you, and it finds you better. And people think that they have to take the action to chain that person down and protect that. And that's not real. If it's real, you don't have to protect it. And somebody was asking if you can find true love online. Of course you can. Just go to Pornhub. What's the next question? Through online hypnosis, can you through online hypnosis, can you get help to love yourself? Absolutely, yes. That's what you're doing every time. You guys get it. So with online hypnosis, Glenn has the Hypno Vault, and I have an app called Rockstar Your Mind. Any hypnosis you do in any of these, or just go find something free on YouTube, you're releasing resistance. And when Glenn said, when you get rid of the anger, when you get rid of the negative emotion, when you get rid of those stories, what's there is your true essence, which is love. You'll find that in absolutely any meditation because you're releasing resistance. And when it's not there, the love that is you never need to seek it. If you're seeking, you're going further away from it. It's already what's there.
Yeah. And when you do something with your heart for love, you never regret it because that's what you wanted. When your heart is making the choice, it's not out of a need, it's not out of because you have to, it's because you want. That's why it's so important to be connected to the heart. Many people don't know how, but by living you will discover because there is not an explanation. You just have to be in you, connected to your emotions, in my opinion. But that's how you never regret anything you do. Truly anything. I don't have any regrets in my life. Can you believe it, guys? Like zero. I do whatever I feel I can do, of course, you know, what I can and what I like. I commit to anything that is truthful, deep and real, lived. I don't have any regrets.
We can see it on your Instagram, and there's a reason
My
there's so many followers.
Instagram, but it's just a game for me. But yeah, apart our live, that is amazing consciousness. The rest is to play.
I want to ask you guys a practical question. I had a client this week. I want to hear how you both would approach it. And I feel like this is how our podcast started. It's like we throw out a question, we get 3 different perspectives. I'd love to know how you guys would approach this. There's no wrong answer. Yes, there is, but there's not. She said, I'm having trouble, not just in my marriage, in all of my life, but she said specifically when it comes to my marriage, we have young children. My husband is not taking care of himself physically. And I look at his parents and they're physically awful and deteriorating, and I can see it happening in him. And so I believe, she said, that, you know, he needs to listen to me, work out, eat right. So that's where the conversation started. We took it to a really amazing place, but I'm curious individually what you each have to say about how you would advise this person in her love relationship where he's going to kill himself, according to her, with bad food and no working out.
Hmm?
So they're about to kill each other, but they love each other.
What? Wait, what was the question? They what?
They're about to kill each other, but they love each other.
Well, he's about to kill himself and she's about to kill him. But no, they want to stay together. They want to stay together.
No, I'm not mean to laugh, but in
Yeah.
these cases, if you laugh with them, problem solved. I think energy sets energy. I do want to be superficial now, guys, but I've been noticing while I've been exploring these beautiful sessions for couples, while I was laughing while they were fighting, everything was solved because actually we know that the problem is always spiritual. It is never about the external. So, it doesn't let me, you know, many problems. I don't want to share them at the moment. So it was, you know, not too long ago. So as soon as you laugh, you basically set the energy right. So it's not about laughing at themselves, it's about laughing at what they're fighting for sometimes. So the problem is always spiritual, either is in him or in her. I don't think the problem is often between people, is in the individual.
I agree with you. Laughing is amazing, especially during an argument. But now I'm going to play devil's advocate. Okay, so I'm her, you're the counselor, and I say to you, well, laughing is nice, but he's still not going to eat better or go to the gym. So my husband's going to die and leave me with all these children, and, you know. So what do I do? Right? That's the devil's advocate. What do I do? She says. What's the practical answer?
Communicate. No, Glenn.
Sometimes it is your job with your partner to wake them the hell up. And as his wife, you say, listen, honey, here's the deal. Love you, love our marriage, love our kids. I'm not going to stay and watch you kill yourself. So either you get your shit together for our family or you get the F out. Real simple. That's how I would approach it.
Yeah, that's another way to handle it. That is another way to handle it. But now we're becoming a mismatch to our dream because her dream is a happy, healthy in all ways relationship. And so she's saying, unless you do this, then you get out. But she doesn't want him out. She wants him in and she wants him well.
You can't do both.
When you want to kill your life, yourself, you hate your life. It's not even hers the problem. He doesn't like his life at all.
Oh, really good point. So if he hates his life, is he going to like his life better if she kicks him out, or is he going to hate it more?
Nothing is going to change. I would move from a city, or because if they're married, you make it happen, you move together, or you change job, you change scenario, you change connections. The energy is not right.
Sometimes, though, that's what your partner's job is, to wake you up and put you on a better path. Your partner's for a reason. And you can't, it's like you can't say, change, but don't leave me. Don't do this, but don't leave me. It doesn't work.
Right. Right. And none of these are bad or wrong
It's
answers. What I'm hearing everyone saying here is, I'm going to decide what I want and I'm going to tell it to you. And what I suggested to her is, at a best case, when you look at how the brain functions, and when somebody's in the best mood and in the highest emotional intelligence, they have access, 12% of their brain has logic at best. And in reality, because this guy's not eating right, he's not exercising, and he's like scared of his wife at this point because she's probably said it to him 1,000 times. He's got this wall of anxiety up in the brain. He doesn't have access to any logic.
Yes, because he's feeling responsible for his wife, responsible for his life that he hates, responsible for everything. So basically, the wife becomes the enemy. His life becomes the reason why he wants to kill himself. Exactly.
Right, and what he doesn't have in the relationship is freedom. So he sort of gets this false little sense of freedom by defying her, right? And so she's using logic. Logic shows you're going to be unhealthy and die. And he can't hear logic. He can repeat it back, but it's not good. He can't hear logic, but she's using logic, and she's not appealing to his emotions. And here's the biggest thing in communication, and you guys both did it. Everybody does it. He has a sense of loss of control, and she's trying to control him harder. So what I practically suggest to do, instead of making statements and ultimatums, begin to ask questions and let them off the hook for the decisions they've been making. And also, in this case, and in most cases, apologize and say, for the last 10 years, I've been saying this and giving you ultimatums, and it's because I love you, but how can that come across when I'm probably just appearing very scary to you? So I want to apologize for appearing very scary for so long, and I want the opportunity to make this right. Is that okay with you? He's going to be blown away by that, right? And then just start asking questions. How do you feel when you do this? What is it that you do want? How can we work together? What can we, right? You see, start asking questions and stop using logic.
Yeah.
Isn't that just another way to try to force an outcome to a solution that you want?
Yes.
It is. It's
yes.
It's
Yes.
another approach to the same thing, and I don't think that will work either. So
it may not. It may not, but it's definitely not going to work when you tell him what to do.
Well, but there is a, you have to have standards in any relationship. And what's hard is this. Now, obviously, without knowing the history, how did they get here?
Right.
But most likely got here because they didn't both have standards for the relationship when they started, and they fell into this pattern. So it is much harder to get those standards now, years down the road.
And that's why you have to apologize, because you screwed it up for a long time. Yeah.
Yeah. So there is that. So there's not always, I don't think, one answer to this area. But, there is something, if you do connect with your partner, you make a plan together, support each other in doing that, it can be a beautiful thing if you can get to that place.
And let me tell you why you're right about I am still guiding him to where I want him to go. True. But the big difference is this. The only way we can ever help anyone, if it's ever going to help at all, is guiding them to their own inner being. And most people will approach this topic as, if you love me then, if you loved your children, then you'd eat better, right? If you love me, then you would go to the gym. If you love me, then, right? And instead, the message is slightly different, but profoundly energetically different, which is this. If you love you, what would that look like? Because I want to be with someone I know really loves themselves and is aligned in that way.
I mean, there are a lot of stories in the rehab center where both men and women, the husband says to the wife, listen, you're out of here if you don't stop drinking. If you don't get help, this marriage is over. I'm taking the kids away. then the mom or the dad goes into rehab, they get clean, and they have a beautiful life together. But that wouldn't have happened without that boundary being set up. You know what I mean? And sometimes people do need tough love, and sometimes they need more understanding and support. So I don't think there's one answer. You know, I think there's it depends on the situation, really.
Yeah, it
Yeah, it's
depends on
like the
the
bigger the
situation.
problem. Yeah, the bigger the problem, almost like the bigger.
You know, a
Yeah.
lot of people needed that. They needed the threat of losing their family over alcohol to make that choice. Say, listen, you're right. I'm ruining everything I built in my life. Let me go get sober. And that's worked. And it also
Yes,
hasn't worked. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, no,
it's,
that's a really good point.
yeah,
know?
and for standards, we also don't mean expectations, because you cannot expect if you're not giving. So give your energy, your presence, and not expect me to be there. Or, you know, these expectations in love doesn't work. So standard is a different thing. Standard is the standard you have of love, of the definition of the meaning of love for you. There is no expectation, but the standard is, I want to reach this standard to feel we can move on, to feel we can advance, to feel we can. So it's less of an expectation, more of a value, of how you value yourself also.
I love that word standard. And if I were to define my personal standard, it's I want to know that when I'm with someone, they have such a good connection and love for themselves that they're not expecting me to fill any of that void for them. And when I show up, it's playtime.
Yeah.
So let me get this down to action, because both of you talk in such spiritual concepts, right? Loving yourself, your relationship, healing your soul. For me, it took me a long time to say, what the hell does that even mean, right? So I'll make it really, really simple. And this is also part of life, where what loving yourself to me means this. Somewhere along the way, we develop a belief that we shouldn't, people have to, I stopped developing things within myself that bring me joy. And what makes you and what makes somebody else want to attract into your life is like, I had to ask myself, is my life the kind of life that somebody would want to share it with me? Am I involved in things that bring me joy? Am I learning something new? Am I in a
Exactly.
class?
That's the issue, in my opinion. Sorry, Glenn.
Yeah. And so it's like, and if my life is filled with anger, with toxic relationships, with you don't have to be rich, but am I in survival mode? You know, versus being okay. Nobody healthy is going to want to share that with you. So part of loving yourself
You,
is just,
you feel it when there is this. So true, Glenn.
yeah, like if you meet a guy and he's involved in things, that's very attractive to you. It's like, hey, wait a second. You know, this guy is, all right, he goes to the gym, he goes to boxing, or he's learning this. It's like this guy does things for himself. And I think that's what we forget, that's what loving yourself to me is. It's like you're involved in things for growth. And
The
so you're
problem,
connected.
yeah, the problem that comes in that relationship, because I agree with everything you're saying, and I really love you're talking about the evidence of what it would look like if you do love yourself.
Yes.
The problem is, so now this guy's very attractive. He does boxing and he does the gym and he owns fancy cars and he has this company and he travels and he does all that. He's a very attractive guy. And then the girl meets him, they get together, and then the girl says to him, don't you dare go to that thing today. If you love me, you'd stay here. Now she's asking him to be less of who he is.
Yeah, no, this is insupportable.
That's that's a different scenario. That's control. But you have to create at least a space in your life that feels good for somebody to want to share it with you.
I feel
And that is,
create the space together. Sorry, Glenn, my life is amazing, but if I date you, I'm not going to have the same life.
yeah.
Every time I dated someone, my life changed. So it's not that you have to fit in my life and I have to fit in your life. When we were talking about sharing a life together, it's about living moments, and each moment brings something new. And every step brings something new. That's why, even when you eat, you have so much more pleasure when you put ingredients together and you cook them, then when the dish is already made, and then you don't know what you eat because what's beyond and what's behind.
Yeah,
I,
it does change. It definitely does change when you date someone or you bring somebody into your life. But it's just, to me, like Sandy, when you say there's like a God-sized filled hole to fill, I get that analogy completely. It's like nobody can fill that hole. I like to see it as somebody can share your space with you. And that hole, truly, like you said, can only be filled by you. But I think we fill that hole by creating a life for ourselves that we enjoy, without a partner. So that way they just kind of add to what you've done in a special way. I think that's a less spiritual way of saying it. Bring it back to reality, right?
it's
Yeah.
perfect. It's perfect.
Yeah.
So what did we learn? What did we learn about love, relationships, and communication today?
Well, we learned that Francesca, if she's not jealous of you, she wants nothing to do with you. If jealousy.
Every time I dated my guy, I am you cannot be jealous. Of course, playful, not mentally disturbed, where you basically create drama. No. It happened, of course, when I was young, and I looked at myself and I said, "What is this? Are you sick?" So it's part of the DNA for sure, but it's also part of your, of your sentiment. It's a passion, and it depends how you play it, as everything in life.
Francesca, long-haired one who speaks Italian and French. if you are dating a guy, he's your boyfriend, and you're out at a party and you're having a great time with your girlfriend, are you allowed to make
super
out?
flirty, flirty, and expect my guy to be flirty as I am because we are a team.
Yeah.
You have to be. Yeah, I want someone like me.
Are you allowed to make out with one of your girlfriends at that party?
No, but sometimes when I dance, I kiss my girlfriends, but not because I am bi, but just because I love kissing my girlfriend sometimes. What is the problem?
So you're allowed.
I'm allowed.
Is he allowed to kiss other people at that party the same way you are?
If he's a guy, yes. If he's a girl, together. Otherwise, no.
Glenn? If you're at a party with whoever you might be dating...
No, okay, I'm joking now. I don't know. It depends on the situation. It depends on the girl.
And if you're at a party with a girl and Francesca's there, are you allowed to kiss Francesca like a girl would kiss Francesca? It doesn't count because you're not bi?
That's the perfect.
No, I believe, when you're a bit tipsy, and it depends on the situation, as we said before, guys. It depends on the situation. If we are in a salotto and we tease each other and we flirt, is our nature beautiful. If you're dancing and you give a little kiss to a girl, and then I'm a girl, I'm kissing a girl I kiss my sister also, I kiss my mother. I grown up with my mother, she kissed me in my mouth. But, a stamp like this. We are super passionate in my family. So I do the same. It comes natural to me. But then if I'm dating a guy and then he kisses a girl, bye-bye.
But okay, so same scenario, Francesca. Same thing.
I don't think I would accept it.
You kiss a girlfriend in a certain situation, you're not full on making out. But the way you kiss a girl, if your guy kissed a girl that same way, no tongue.
But it depends. If he's if he's a high of alcohol, and I'm there, I would never be mad. But then, we play about it, we laugh. It depends also, if the person is sneaky, if he's authentic. For me, sneakiness is terrible. Like, I cannot stand sneaky people, sneaky women, and sneaky men. So as soon as I see this, I see it immediately, and you don't have anything to do with me, not even to flirt or to play or anything. So when I also organize these circles or dinners between people, and there are these sneaky people, I don't ever invite them anymore because they ruin the energy. So it depends. Right. So it depends on their energy, Sandy.
No. 100% no. 1,000% no. No.
Love what?
But
no passion of.
Okay, all right, wait. So Glenn, I am totally gay. I've tried, but like I only really like girls. So you and I are at a party and you're dating someone and that person is there too, and I'm like, oh my God, Glenn! And I grab you by the ears because I can't grab you by the hair, so I grab you by the ears and I kiss you just on the mouth, like, because I love you, like I would kiss a dog on the mouth. Like, is that wrong?
Well, that's like a family kissing your kid, family member. That's not. We're not talking about a flirty kiss in a public place with alcohol. Very different.
Yes,
Right.
That needs,
so exactly. The situation is important. Exactly.
needs to be saved for your relationship.
Yeah.
My humble opinion. So
Yeah.
But I've seen moments, Lenino, there is people smoke joints, people do things, and I saw couples, kissing between friends, and this is very authentic, this is very pure. I've been in festivals, I've been in Africa Burn, to me, I've been, living a lot in my life, so I've seen a lot. And you truly see it when it's authentic or where it's dirty and bad and dark, which can be fascinating, but when you are between the two, not in groups like this. Yeah.
I don't like it.
Yeah, so I think where we all really, really align is the most important place, which is everything is about authenticity. And in that authenticity is honesty, clarity, and communication, honoring the other person, not sneaking, not lying, and whatever parameters work for you is fine. But it just comes down to really being who you are and making sure that when you define relationship or marriage, if even 1% of you has to leave you in order to be in that relationship, ain't gonna go well. It's not gonna go well for your health. It's not gonna go well for your immune system. And the problem is you made a contract a long time ago that you would give up pieces of yourself for that person, and that's not the definition of love. End of story.
All right, you guys.
Yes, it's not the definition of love. It's the vulnerability of the moment only. Totally.
Yeah. Really good conversation, guys.
All right, you two crazy kids. Until the next
Two
time.
crazy cats, better than kids, please, Granio. Two crazy cats, we accept.
So until the next time, shine and shine. That app ready. We need to talk about this app and see what's going on with it. And Francesca, keep what you do. It's amazing.
Thank you, Amores. To be honest, I can't wait to see you again. If you want to, I know you're very busy, guys. I'm a bit less busy than you because I always find my time. I know your schedule is very super business successful. So let me know if you want to go live once a week. Hopefully, we will have people that are brave enough to join us live because that's what we aim for, to share stories. Storytelling is a piece of art. We have to share stories. It's so important.
Yeah. Really good. And we're going to post this like we have posted all of the Three Ways podcast on YouTube as well. So you can watch it again or send it to somebody, and it's on all the podcast platforms, or it will be when I upload it.
Amazing.
See you soon.
Right. Love you guys.
So much love.
No
Bye.
tongue.
Bye.
Regular kiss.